Okay, we're going to do that in a few different ways. First, we'll have a discussion. Then I have an activity where we'll move around the room. And finally, I have a worksheet. So we have a lot of things to do and not a lot of time to do it. We only have 30 minutes. Okay, so I'll really need your help. That when I give an instruction, you move quickly and quietly, because it's really important to me that we have time for questions at the end. That's like, just to get us started, why don't you tell me what you already know about the American Red Cross? What are we all about? What are our goals? What kinds of things do we do?
You guys help people, like when their homes are destroyed or bad weather.
Yeah, exactly. So we help people. That's our number one goal. Everything we do is all about helping people. And this student also mentioned something else. She mentioned we help people when their homes get destroyed by bad weather. And there are some other times when we help people too, and we'll get into that a little bit later. That's a great answer. What else?
We help people with heart disease and cancer.
So actually, we don't help people with heart disease and cancer specifically. There are other organizations that do that, but we do help people who might be hurt or injured. Have you guys heard of first aid or CPR? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? So first aid and CPR is not really like, it's what you do before you go to the hospital. Right? Like, so if you had heart disease or cancer, you definitely need a doctor or someone who knows exactly, like an expert in heart disease or cancer, right? But first aid and CPR is medical help before a doctor gets there. And we teach people how to do first aid and CPR. Has anyone ever had any kind of first aid or CPR training? Red Cross's main goal is to help people prepare for and prevent emergencies before they happen. And then also, after the emergency happens, help people recover and get life back to normal. Okay? When the emergency is happening, there are some things that Red Cross does, but probably when the emergency is happening, you're going to need a firefighter, a doctor, a police officer, someone like that. And how do you get in touch with those people? Yeah, by calling 911. But it's also important to get out safely. And the same is true at home, right? Have you all talked with your families about what to do at home in case of a fire? Does anyone have a meeting place? Once you get out of your house, where's your meeting place?
Well, we live a block and a half away from like the square place where you can walk, so our meeting place will be over there.
Yeah, like in a park? Do you mean like a park? Okay. Yeah, great. That's a great meeting place. Family member's house. That's a great meeting place too. What's your meeting place? What disaster good one is important to go into the basement? Tornado. Yeah. Give me some more examples of disasters.
Forest fires.
Forest fire. That's a big one. That's a big problem in Colorado. What else? Tsunami. Yep. Tsunami. So I'm thinking of two other disasters that happen in Colorado all the time. That's not the one I was thinking of, but that's a good one.
Blizzards?
Blizzard is one of them. Blizzards happen a lot in Colorado, don't they? And there are some really specific things you have to do to be prepared for a blizzard, right? Like, sometimes school is closed because it's not safe to be outside. Maybe it's too cold. Maybe the roads are too icy. Yeah, blizzards is one of them. What's the other one?
Forest fires.
Not forest fire. It's a different kind of fire.
Snowstorms.
Not snowstorm. That's sort of the same thing as blizzard, House fire. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. House fires are the number one thing that Red Cross helps with. House fires. Most of the time we go out and help families who have been affected by house fires. Okay? So, and we already talked about some meeting places, right? Like the neighbor's house, the tree, the park. Do you think that those meeting places would make sense if the disasters were bigger? Like some students mentioned hurricane or a tsunami. Would those kind of meeting places work?
No.
Why not?
Because if they go to your neighbor's house and they keep loving you.
Yeah, because that disaster might affect your neighbor also, right? Yeah, so in that situation of a hurricane or a tsunami or a bigger disaster, the safest thing to do would be to evacuate, right? Can someone give me a definition for the word evacuate?
Get away.
Get away, yeah. Evacuate means to get away, to go out, to leave, right? And if you were going to need to evacuate, you'd probably need to bring some things with you, right? Have you ever heard of an emergency kit? So an emergency kit is something that will have things in it that you'll need to survive, okay? Give me some examples of things that might be in an emergency kit.
Band-aids?
Band-aids, yep, what else?
Water?
Water, good one, Food, yeah. Okay, so those are all great examples. You guys mostly know what I mean. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do our activity. Each student is going to get a name tag. And on this name tag, there is an item. Okay, here's an example. It's in English, Spanish, and if you're still confused, there's a picture on the back. Okay? So each student is going to get one of these name tags. And your first task is to talk with the people around you and decide if you think the thing on your name tag belongs in an emergency kit or not. Okay, to help you make that decision, think about these three things. First, an emergency kit is about the size of a backpack. Okay, it's about the size of a backpack. So it's not a gigantic suitcase, it's about the size of a backpack. The second characteristic of an emergency kit is that it can help you survive for about 3 days. Okay? So when you're looking at your name tag, think, is this thing going to help me if I have to be away from my house for about 3 days? The final characteristic of an emergency kit is that it's prepared in advance. All right, so remember, if you hear your smoke detector going off in your house, that is not the time to start preparing your emergency kit. You know, like running around your house and getting water and food and that kind of thing. Your emergency kit should already be prepared. Right, so think about those things. What do you think about toothbrush? Let's take a silent vote. Thumbs up for in my emergency kit, thumbs down for not in my emergency kit. I see a lot of thumbs down and a few thumbs up. I'm actually going to say in the kit. And here's why. Even though my toothbrush isn't going to save my life, it's not going to save my life, but it is going to help keep me clean and healthy, which is really important in the case of an emergency. So I would actually put this in my kit. All right? So maybe your teacher can help me pass these out. Your item belongs in the kit. We'll meet over here by this vocabulary board. Okay, by the vocabulary board. If you think it doesn't belong in the kit, we'll meet over here by this number station. Okay? If you're not sure, like, oh, I don't know, toothbrush, maybe, I don't know, go in the middle. Okay? So meet in the middle. And I'll know that you're ready when I see you sitting down at your station. Okay? Either in the kit, not in the kit, or not sure. I'll know you're ready when I see you sitting down. Okay? All right.
If you know, start moving.
You're not supposed to have a whistle in your Yeah? No. In case you're lost? Yeah.
I want to see what decisions you made, so just pull up your name tag while it's still attached, and I just want to take a quick look and see what you decided. Oh, good. Yes. So let's start with the people in the middle first, okay? Why don't we start with you? I'd like for you to stand up, tell me what you are and what you're thinking. Okay, what about you? This one's a little confusing. Stand up, tell us what you are.
I am important
Turn around so everyone can hear.
I am important document.
What's an example of an important document?
I don't know.
Any examples of important documents? Passport. Yeah, that's a good one. What else? What? Yeah, when you were born.
ID.
ID. Yeah, these are all things that like prove who you are and where you live, right? Those are examples of important documents. So does that now do you have a better idea of where you would want to go? Exactly right. What kind of food doesn't need to be refrigerated or anything like that? What kind of food do you have?
Me?
Canned food. Canned food. What's an example of canned food? Fruit, beans, soup, ravioli, that kind of thing. That's probably going to be a better choice for food. Okay? So I'm actually going to recommend that ice cream not go in the kit. Here's the most important thing about this, you guys. It doesn't matter what is in your emergency kit if you can't find your family. in an emergency. It doesn't matter how much hand sanitizer you have, how much canned food you have, you know, it doesn't matter if you can't find your family. And that's the topic of our worksheet, okay? We're going to talk about this worksheet, and the worksheet is a plan to help you be able to find your family in case of an emergency. So here's what I need to have happen. And this is sometimes where students get confused and think that I said run around the room and talk really loud. But that's the opposite of what I'm going to say, okay? So I'd like for you to take off your name tag, and when you get back to your seat, so these things get tangled up really easily, and it makes me absolutely bonkers. So when you get back to your seat, if you could put it on, like make a pile with the people at your table group, with the strings all facing the same direction, that would really help me, okay? So please move as quickly and quietly as your eyes on me, with your voices at a level 0. This worksheet is called Family Disaster Plan. Okay, it's not called Personal Disaster Plan or Student Plan or Individual Plan. It's called Family Disaster Plan. And that is because you probably won't know these answers on this worksheet without talking with your family. Okay? So I'm going to hand these out, but I actually have them in Spanish also. So if when your parents speak to you, they speak to you in Spanish, will you raise your hand? Okay, maybe your teacher can hand out those for me. Yeah. So when you get your worksheet, go ahead and turn it to the side that has the house on it. Question 1 talks about meeting places. We already talked about this one. A lot of you had some really great examples. A neighbor's house. The student said his friend Michael's house. A tree. A park near your house. Those are examples of meeting places. Question 2 is a meeting place outside your neighborhood, okay? There is a good chance that you won't be able to get to your meeting place because of the disaster. Okay, so a backup meeting place outside your neighborhood, like maybe the school. If you can walk to the school safely on your own, that's a great meeting place. Question 3 says designate an out-of-town contact. Has anyone ever tried to make a phone call and heard a busy signal? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
No? It's like beep, 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 beep. And it means that someone is trying to make a phone call at the exact same time as you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you can think of someone who doesn't live in Denver that you could call in case of an emergency, that would be a good idea. Because in an emergency, everyone is trying to call their friends and family to make sure that they're safe, and lots of people hear busy signals. So here's an example. I have an Aunt Nancy, and she lives in Michigan. So if something happens in Denver and there's a disaster, instead of trying to call my parents, I'm going to call my Aunt Nancy in Michigan. And Nancy, a disaster happened. I'm safe. I'm at school. My parents also, instead of trying to call me and hearing a busy signal, will call my Aunt Nancy. Aunt Nancy, a disaster happened. We can't find Julia. Ah, she called me. She's safe. She's at school. It's okay. All right, so try and think of someone who doesn't live in Denver that you can call. Okay, go ahead and flip that paper over. This is an example of a contact list. It has important names and phone numbers on it that you might need in case of an emergency. And probably you, again, won't be responsible for calling the telephone company, the gas company. Probably an adult who you live with will make those phone calls. But it's important to have this information all in one place. Okay, which is another important point. Don't bring this paper back to school. Take it home. Talk about it with your family, and put it in a safe place, like maybe put it in your emergency kit. Hey, I don't have an emergency kit. Good thing we did this activity. Now you know the kinds of things that belong in an emergency kit and the kinds of things that don't. Okay? You don't have to spend a lot of money putting together an emergency kit. Probably you have all of that stuff at home already. And you can start building your. The most important thing is that you go home and talk with the people you live with about this information, okay? Can I count on you to do that?
Yeah.